Hello, shiny happy people. I am bringing you what I promised. If you watched the 2020 market recap video I recently put out, I teased a couple different videos that I was going to be putting out because if you recall, I spoke about the real estate market and how it affects the economy as a whole, national, state, local. And I said, you know what? Let me do a couple follow-up videos to sellers and buyers on how it affects their personal economy. So here I am talking to potential homeowners who are currently renters to give you an idea of what it means to your personal economics to make the decision to leap into home ownership. So the first thing I want to talk about is the tax advantages of home ownership. There are major tax advantages to home ownership. So right now you're paying your monthly rent and you're paying, all that good stuff. And there is nothing that you can do at the end of the year to claim any of that as an expense on your taxes. Well, as soon as you become a homeowner, one of the major tax advantages is what's called the mortgage interest deduction. That is something that realtors, the National Association of Realtors and local associations have fought tooth and nail for time and time again to make sure it stays on. And what that means is the amount of interest that you pay through the year on your mortgage is a direct deduction on your taxes at the end of the year. So it drastically decreases what your taxed income is at the end of the year, and therefore drastically decreases the amount of taxes that you owed or increases the amount that you're getting back. So, and the really good news about that is but yeah, there's always a positive spin to everything, is when you first get a mortgage, all of those mortgage payments that you're paying, the lenders it's what's called a front-loaded mortgage. So a majority of your monthly payment that you're paying in the first several years of your loan is interest. Very little of it actually goes to your principal. So a big chunk of what you're paying every month and then throughout the year is actually deductible. Your property taxes are also a direct tax deduction for you. So that is a major economic factor that help people decide where to go. So you can not only be paying your own mortgage off, but you can be using that money and leveraging that money as a very, very good benefit at your taxes at the end of the year. Second, really major economic thing to consider when you are going to buy a home is the wealth building factor. So as soon as you start buying a house and you start paying that mortgage, you start paying down your principal, and the appreciation that I talked about in my last video starts coming into play. So your wealth automatically starts growing with you doing nothing more than what you're doing right now, and that's writing a check to pay for your housing. The difference is you're not writing a check to pay for somebody else's house, you're writing that check to pay for yours. And the data is out there. You can see it year after year, decade after decade. The difference in wealth between renters and homeowners is extreme. So I am looking at an article from 2019, and these studies come out about every 3 years. In 2019, homeowners have, on average, 40 times more wealth than renters do. And there's a couple reasons for that, and it's not just home equity. But when you take that big first step at being a homeowner, you start now thinking on that level of investment. So you start thinking more on the lines of 401ks. You start thinking of what you can do to your house to improve its value. You start thinking about, now I have this thing of value, maybe I should get some life insurance. I'm going to be starting to grow a family. I need to make sure I'm protecting them. So it not only gives you that actual black and white on a ledger growth of wealth, it gives you the mentality of wealth growth. It gives you that mentality of now taking care of your family and your future and moving forward and looking forward to what's happening. So the intrinsic value of home ownership, I cannot talk enough about. And if you're interested in finding out what tax implications are after and once you decide to sell or whatever, you can watch the seller's video that I just did. I'm wearing the same thing. I'm recording them on the same day. Please don't judge me. I mean, come on. I can only do so much. I can't just record videos all day long every day. But I talk about like capital gains and such like that you can think about for the future. Because one of the things that you're going to be doing, you know, when you buy your first house, I also talk about equity. So when you buy your first house, you can pull that equity out when you buy your second one, and stuff like that. So I hope this was very helpful, and I hope that this is the year that you finally decide to move forward and get out of the rental treadmill and on to the mountainous wealth climbing path of home ownership. I'm very happy to talk to you. I love bringing you these videos. I hope that they are helpful to you. And if you decide this is your year, you know who to call. Thanks so much. Take care, shiny, happy people, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.